Hey y'all, so in today's video I am going to be doing a revamped set for you guys. This is a highly requested video. If you follow me on social media, you always see me post about revamped sets. So let's get straight to it. So I already drilled her nails down really thin from the previous acrylic, and it's like super thin, and I'm just laying the new colors on top. All the powders that I'm using are from Valentino and Tony Lee. So I'm just creating the new look on top of the old nail design. So when I do revamp sets, I tend to like to use very opaque powders. The only time I take off the nail is if I need to use like a clear nail, or if I just cannot do a certain look that the clients want on top of the nail. I'll have to go more into detail about revamp sets because each client can be different. It just all depends on certain factors. So today she wanted a purple look. This is a freestyle set, so she just gave me the color she wanted and her budget, and we went from there. So right now I am using a powder by Valentino, and it's called Prettiest Pink, and I am doing the nail solid in that color. And as you guys can see, some people that do these stylists, these revamped nails, the nails are super thick. When you get done, you will see that her nails aren't thick at all. There's still a good thickness to it, not like a super thickness, but they're also not very thin. So yes, I'm just using that Prettiest Pink powder by Valentino, and cleaning around the edges. And typically with this set, I tried to one ball method it, but of course sometimes things just don't go my way, so you just gotta add a little extra. What I'm doing now is using the purple powder that I used on the pinky, and I'm creating this faded design by spreading the powder out really thin and then using my brush to pat it out and spread it really flat. Next, I'm going to take this purple glitter, and I'm going to keep it in the center of the purple powder that I put on top of the nude. That way it's just focused in the center. Then I'm going to take these flakes. I don't know the technical name for these, but they're flakes, and I'm putting them on the outside of the purple acrylic, but not touching the center. So you don't want to touch the glitter, and it's just going to add dimension and shape to hold that those flakes down. I am using some clear acrylic, and I just put the clear acrylic down in a very, very thin layer. I'm also going to clear cap it with some clear powder, and that's just going to ensure that when I drill, I don't drill any of the purple powder off or the glitter. So I'm just going to do the same thing with this nail. Taking that purple powder, spreading it in a random design, and also making sure it stays flat at the same time. I'm going to add that purple glitter on top, keeping it in the center. Then I'm going to take some clear powder and add those flakes on top. I believe these flakes are called Myler flakes. I'm not 1000% sure. But yeah, they're very, very delicate. You can use these in multiple ways. Today I'm encapsulating them, but you can also rub them on like chrome. So now I'm just going to take the purple powder, and we're going to do the thumb a solid purple. And this is a purple from Valentino, one of my favorites. I love using Valentino powders to do revamp sets because Valentino powders are very, very opaque, so they're really good to use to cover up the old color. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to clear cap all of the nails. Sometimes you don't have to clear cap, you guys. I feel like it's a personal preference. I tend to lay my acrylic color really thin. It saves product. Especially when you're using certain brands. Like Valentino's very expensive, and the solid colors do not come. Like when you buy the cover pink colors from Valentino, like Prettiest Pink or Classic Nude, you can buy them in big containers. But when you buy some of the colors, they come in very little containers, so you don't want to waste too much product. So I tend to use a little bit of product and lay the color thin enough to achieve the look I want, and then I clear cap it with clear powder. So that's what I'm doing right now, is clear capping all of the nails. And every set I do, I clear cap it. Even if I just do solid colors, I'm going to clear cap it because I tend to lay my colored acrylic very, very thin. It saves product, saves money, because I'd rather use a lot of clear powder than use a lot of my colored powder and run through it. So I already did the other hand just to save time, and so this video won't be super duper long. And the other hand is very similar. There's not much of a difference. So now we're gonna go into shaping. I'm using a 100 file. And first thing I do is shape the side walls of the nail. When I'm shaping, I make sure I hold the finger really, really tight. And I'm sorry, you guys, when I'm shaping, my hand is going to kind of getting in the way from you seeing the angles. But yeah, so I'm holding that file like as straight as possible on the sides, as well as using my fingers to pull her skin back. So I use my middle finger to pull the skin back on the right side of her finger, and I use my thumb to pull the skin back on the left side of her finger. That way, I'm ensuring that I don't cut her. Then I'm going to use the filer and place it against the tip. And what you're seeing me doing now, laying her fingers side to side, is making sure that they're the same length. I also flip the hand over to make sure that the top of the nail is very flat and has that box look. When you're shaping the side walls, you don't want to shape so much to whereas you're exposing the natural nail. What will happen if you do that is when the client's nails start to grow out, it's going to start lifting from the corners, okay? So if you have trouble with your client's nails lifting from the corners and not necessarily the top by the cuticle, you may be overshaping the side walls, okay? So you don't want to expose the natural nail when you're shaping. So yes, hold that file super straight. Depends on the look you're going for. Some people like a curved look. Some people like that really straight, clean cut look. That's really popular now when it comes to like the Instagram nails. I say Instagram nails in quotation marks. So yes, and then I always hold the file at the tip very flat, and I go up and down to make sure that the tip of the nail has that box look. I also measure each nail on each finger side by side just to make sure each one is the same width and the same length. You don't want one ring finger on one hand to be skinny and the other one to not be, the same, and it be too wide. So I always put the fingers next to each other just to make sure. And when filing, I always think it's important to hold the finger tight so it's not wobbling everywhere, and as well to position your fingers to whereas you're ensuring that your client is comfortable and you are comfortable, and that you're not cutting the client, because these files, especially when they're new, they're very, very sharp, and you will cut the client sharp if you don't position that filer right, okay? So I'm just filing it more in. Once I lay it next to the other nail, I can tell whether it needs to be shaped a little bit more or if it's okay. And then you're gonna see me flip the hand upside down and ensure that the tops are flat and they're not leaning to the side. And I call that looking at your nails from the client's view when you flip it over. And that's just making sure that, you're looking at it from their point of view. So now I'm taking my fine drill bit and I am drilling her nails. So when I'm drilling, the same method I use when I'm filing, with my fingers holding that skin back, I do the same thing when I'm drilling. So when I'm drilling around the cuticle to seal the cuticle, I use my fingers to pull her skin back. You also want to hold your drill at an angle. You want to hold it at an angle because if you hold it too high, you can dig into your client's skin. So right here, I try to show you guys in more of a detail how I drill. So as you can see, I position my fingers right there. I'm using my middle finger to pull her skin back. That way I don't cut her skin. I'm holding the drill at an angle, and I'm using my thumb to pull her skin back on that side. And then that's me sealing the cuticle, as well as making sure the surface is smooth and I'm getting those corners good. You have to seal really good when you drill to make sure there's no lifting in the future. But you don't want to drill too deep or too high of an angle, because you can cause fire lines or rings of fire, whatever term you want to use. And that's when you drill too much into your client's natural nail bed. Okay, we don't want that. So drilling takes time. If you guys are having trouble with drilling, I recommend that you practice on yourself, especially if you're a nail tech. I always feel like when you practice on yourself, it gives you a feel of what the clients will feel. So now we're just gonna buff, and this is a I don't know what grit this buffer is, but it's just one of those cheap disposable buffers. I use it one time and then I toss it. So I'm just buffing the top and under her nails, which is the final touch. So now we're going to add some bling. And here I wanted to show you guys the process of me doing a freestyle set. This particular client, she always wants one finger fully blinged out. So right now I'm using the Creation rhinestone adhesive, as well as some brush on glue. And I don't know the color of these Swarovskis, but I'm using like these very beautiful purple Swarovskis. And at first I used a large stone in the center, with the intentions of using that stone in the design. And you're going to see me change it later, because I just did not like how it was going and it wasn't coming out how I envisioned. So I'm going to take the stone off eventually, and we're just going to do the full finger with the purple rhinestone. So sometimes when I do freestyle sets, I have an idea in mind and it doesn't work out all the time, and I may have to switch it up. So this is me showing you guys an idea going wrong. So here I am removing it, and I'm trying to figure out the placement of the stones, and eventually I figure it out how I want it to look. And I just did a really clean look with all the stones going down in a straight line. Only thing I wish I did have were only thing I wish I did different was I wish I had these stones in a smaller size, but I didn't. So I had to work with the stones that were all this size to fit on that finger. So once I got to the tip of the nail, I'm going to have to start placing the stones at a odd angle, which you will see. So I work in sections when I'm using the Creation adhesive and brush on glue, because the brush on glue does dry fast, and I don't want to brush the whole nail with glue and then the glue dries and it doesn't stick. So I always work in sessions, but you're still going to have to cure this if you do it this way, because of the adhesive that's underneath. So all I'm doing is placing those stones down. Once I get to the side, I place those stones sideways to make sure I cover the whole nail from the top to the bottom to the sides. And I absolutely loved how it came out versus using that chunky stone before. This look was way much better, and she also agreed. She absolutely loved it. I've never done this clean style of stone placement. Usually I mix up different sizes, and this is the first time I've ever used stones of the same size and like lined them up in a straight line. So I'm definitely going to do this again in the future. I can't wait to do this with my Swarovski ABs. So now we're just curing it, and we're going to do the same exact thing to the other finger. I'm using that rhinestone adhesive, and then I'm going to use that brush on glue and place the stones on one by one. So here I am doing the same method. Brush on the resin, and then I'm going to brush on the glue. And next you're going to see me pick up these gold pieces, and there was no plan on how I was going to lay them. She wanted some gold accessories because she wears gold jewelry, so I just randomly placed them, and I actually loved how this came out. I layered the square one, and you're going to see me grab a circle in a minute, and I layered it on top of each other, and it came out absolutely dope. Like, I really liked it, and she was feeling it. So the only thing I wish I did different with the solid purple nails, I wish I would have left the nails matte instead of putting a shiny top coat. And I'm basically going to do the same thing with the pinky. I'm just going to switch up the style of of nail art jewelry that I'm going to use. And we're going to put it at the tip this time and use some moon shaped pieces. And I just randomly grabbed whatever. But yeah, once I was done and I put that clear top coat, I was like, dang, you know, I should have left it shiny, but she liked it. I mean, I wish I would have left it matte and then had the gold pieces, but you know, next time. So the next thing that we're going to do is when I do the clear pieces, I do a top coat over it because these gold pieces can rust and get some discoloration. And I found that when I put the top coat on, it just gives it some longevity. So I did forget to record this nail. So what I did was take some clear top coat and I just drew this random design, you guys. All this is gel top coat, okay? And I just took a nail art brush and I drew a random design. There was no particular pattern I was going for. And we're going to use some foil on top of this. I cured it for 30 seconds, okay? And the foil I'm using is a gold color because, like I said, she wanted to add a little gold. And I'm just pressing it against the design. As you can see, it's only adhering to the design. The top coat that I used for the design is by Creation. And now I'm taking my gel elixir top coat and I am going to cover the whole nail. That way the foil will not come off. I wish I could have left these purple nails matte and did the gold metallic, but it's all good. I know for next time when I have this design in mind, that's what I'm going to do. For that pointy finger, you guys, I took a gel polish and just drew a random purple design and did the same thing as I did with the thumb with the gold foil. I forgot to record it. So here's the finished look of the revamped set. As you guys can see, her nails are not thick. They came out beautiful. I was very, very happy. She was very, very happy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.